Hey there, Dripping Springs. It's Ashley Tellis with another episode of Here's the Drip, continuing my spotlight series for women-owned businesses that are also ethically run businesses. Today, I'm joined by Miss Brooke Burnett, the owner and now of 2 locations of Cactus Coffee Shop. How are you?
I'm really well. How are you?
I am great. Thanks so much for chatting with me today. So other than your name and your business name, I haven't told anybody anything about you. Why don't you tell me about yourself?
So Cactus Coffee Shop is a mobile coffee shop. We've got 2 fixed locations. We've got one in Wimberley and Dripping Springs. And then we also do catering. So we specialize in that. And I actually have 5 units in my fleet completely. So it has grown so much in the past year. And our specialty focus is bringing the coffee shop directly to you, whether that's in a fixed location like downtown Wimberley or now your Dripping Springs HEB. And we can also come right into your home, your venue, your wedding, pretty much anything. We can roll up and start serving you some coffee.
Oh my goodness. What was the inspiration in opening your spot or spot?
So, yeah. I opened as a brick and mortar store in 2016, and I found myself a newly single mom. And I had previously just been a stay-at-home mom, and I say just, but I did a lot of things at the time. And I had the opportunity to just kind of reinvent what my life would look like. And so I took the opportunity to look around at some different locations nearby. And one was right next to my house that I fell in love with. It looked like a tree house. And I asked the owner if it was available, and we walked the space, and she's like, what would be great here is a coffee shop. And I was like, I love coffee. That's a good idea. Like, I think I could do that. And then I did. I just dove right into it. And I was also pregnant at the time. And so it was really, really, it was such a great experience to be able to work. I opened June 1st and I had my son June 21st.
Whoa.
And him to work with me about 10 days later. And I was cleared to work, and he was just my little baby barista for the first 3 years. Yeah, I got to wear him. And then he took his first steps there, and he would sit at the drive-through window and just smile at people. He was great baby bait. Like, he brought in the customers. So yeah. And that's kind of how I just got started in the coffee business and then fell in love with it. And just the best part is the community of it all, because coffee is all about community. So you get to meet a lot of people and build those relationships. And that's just been the most enjoyable experience.
Oh, that is awesome. Can you speak to challenges that you've encountered as a business owner in growing your fleet and the pandemic? I mean, surely that might be mixed in there too, right?
Yeah, it's been a lot of, I think I was a master of the pivot before the pandemic ever hit. I had already so many times that it was like, all right, well, here we go again. Here's number 4. But yeah, I had started out in the brick and mortar, and it was just in a really difficult location. Even though we had the only drive-through in Wimberley for coffee, we had a lot of things going, but it was just a difficult spot to pull people out of. So I was doing everything. I had every side hustle imaginable just to keep my business open. We had to get on some welfare programs for a little bit. I had to really lean in, because as a single mom and a working single mom with school-aged kids, I had to juggle all of that. And so if you had a sick kid, do I close my shop or what? But luckily, I just have an amazing group of women who supported me and held me through that. And they would just do all the things, from pick up my kids from school, take them there. So when the landlord said they were going to increase my rent at the end of my lease, I was like, we're just not gonna, this clearly isn't working. We're gonna shake things up. And I got a loan from an organization called kiva.org, which is a nonprofit, and they specialize in high-risk groups like single mothers, third world countries, people who would never, ever touch a bank loan. Like, the banks wouldn't even pretend they exist. Mm-hmm. So it's amazing. It's 0% interest crowdfunding, but you get paid back. And so I used that in order to purchase my first truck. And it's been amazing. I'm about to finish up my first loan. And what's great as a borrower as well, or as a lender for that loan, is you can relend that same $25 over and over and over, and just impact so many lives from different women and minority groups, and just people that have been disproportionately marginalized in that scope. So Yeah. And once the pandemic hit, I mean, I was like a pro. I've switched around so many times and just shifted perspectives. And frankly, it seems a little weird to say, but I really thrived in 2020. And it was my best year by a long shot. Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm so glad that you can say that. I started doing these interviews because of the pandemic as a way to support small business. I would love to go shop daily, but I don't have the bank account to support that always. So, right. This is my way of trying to further and share a message. And you have a hell of a story that you just shared. That is so cool. Tell me a little bit about what motivates you every day.
I am just, man, I just live and breathe this business. I'm just so passionate about getting up and serving people. I don't know if you're a big fan of the Enneagram or personality, but I'm a 2-wing 3. And so I am a host to the core. So if I can make anybody's day better, that's what I'm going to do. Like the fact that I get to do that with coffee is even more fulfilling for me, because we don't just do the regular, Starbucksy type coffees, and we don't even do the bougie, like third wave coffee. I like to joke that I'm solidly second wave, but we make it fun. So that's my background is graphic design. That's what I got my degree in. And so the packaging and the visual of the product is my favorite part. So coming up with new drinks and making them pretty, like the Lotus drink that you got today, yes. That's my favorite part of the day.
And I had a big problem because that Lotus drink was gone in about 5 seconds. So I had to go traditional coffee to replace said Lotus drink. OMG, it's delicious.
They are so good. Yeah. And just beautiful too.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Tell me a piece of advice somebody gave you along the way that you still use and that you could maybe pass on to someone else.
Oh, I think, honestly, it's not even one that's, like, don't give up or anything. One thing that I ignored for far too long was to reach out to the SBDC, the Small Business Development Center, and get a mentor. Because as wonderful as all your friends and family are, these people are so specialized and they're experienced, they have connections, and it's completely free. And they will hold your hand through your entire business. That's honestly the game changer for me for 2020 was I started in January and had my first meeting before COVID even hit. And he set me on a good path and then checked in frequently and had so many plans for me for goals to hit, legal questions, how to apply for PPP. I had everything. And it was absolutely the best thing that ever could have happened to me as a business owner.
Oh, that's rad. I love that. Thank you for sharing. So before we wrap up, I have a couple more questions. As I announced earlier, this is women not only running small businesses, but ethical businesses. What does ethical mean to you in your own business?
I think ethical should be a holistic entire scope for your business. So I opened up Cactus Coffee Shop in my brick and mortar as completely zero waste. We had less than 1 bag of trash a week. We had composting systems. I even installed an aquaponics growing bed in the back, and we grew most of our tomatoes and basil and salad greens. Oh my gosh, a mountain of mint. We had peppermint tea for weeks with that. So I had a really strong green vent. We did biodegradable, compostable. We really tried to have the smallest footprint possible, and also tried to have a livable wage for our employees. So most of my employees, the coffee world is a little bit different because they're tipped and get decent wages. So right now they're averaging out about $16 an hour once we factor in their tips, which is much, much higher than the standard Texas starting wage. Mm-hmm. And to go back as well, we try and source as many products from other ethical businesses, women-owned, fair trade, organic, and really do our due diligence. Like even our Smart Fruit smoothie mixes that we use, those are all vegan, organic, kosher. It's an awesome company out of Brooklyn. My coffee roaster is so awesome. Dee's Roastery, highly recommend, out of Wimberley. And I'm so glad to bring him into dripping. But he always gets organic roasted beans. He brings them and does them all in Wimberley. It's all local. He gives back to the community. And it's just so everything we do, we try and make our decisions intentionally. So I guess to wrap it up is intentional, holistic, all around decisions.
I love that. I love that. It's obvious that you're not just here to make a buck. You're here to make an impact. That's really,
Right.
really cool. So last question before we sign off, where can people find you?
Yeah.
Or your coffee, rather. I guess you can't be in 5 places at once.
I hard. This Friday, I was in 3. I started in Drip, and then I went to Wimberley, and then I did a catering, which was awesome. Winery and dripping. But yeah, so you can find me in Wimberley off the square. It's 13601 Ranch Road 12. We're right next to Shop the Tree House, also an amazing woman-owned business. And you can find me in Dripping Springs in front of the HEB. We sit on the curb next to the cart corral. And you'll normally find Katie, the cowgirl. She's over there whipping up those drinks. And then also you can find me online and book me for your own party, and I can show up right to your door. So you can just go to cactuscoffeeshop.com and check that out.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, Brooke, thank you so much for your time today, sharing a little bit more about your mission and your passion at Cactus Coffee Shop. I'm excited to frequent the Dripping location because I'm right here in Dripping Springs myself. In fact, I told my husband earlier, let's just tack an extra like $10 onto every single grocery visit, because I'm definitely going to get a lot more on my way in. I'm so looking forward to it. And really, really, again, appreciate your time, and we will see you soon.